everybody and their mama is out here glazing the Nintendo Switch 2. What is wrong with you, man? I mean, I get it. Nintendo finally announced something, but let's not act like that Mario Kart snippet of gameplay was impressive. Because that looked like it could have ran on the Wii U, if you know what I'm saying. And to be honest with you, let's talk about some of the issues of the platform in regards to it being a PS4 in specifications, which I know is not the biggest deal breaker. But a lot of you Nintendo dudes are not talking about the fact that how are they going to fit all these third-party games on these cartridges? Tears of Kingdom is 32 gigabytes on the cartridge, right? And look at how more expensive that game was in comparison to all the others. So essentially what you're saying that third party are going to have 64 or 128 gigabyte cartridges, or they're going to have digital. I'm telling you, you're going to see more digital third party games on the Nintendo Switch 2 than ever before. And on top of that, let's also talk about the fact that you can get away with 32, 64 gigabytes of storage off the Nintendo Switch. Are they settling for a terabyte? Are they going to give the Nintendo community 500 gigabytes? And even that is still not enough to run a lot of these PS4 games. How come you people ain't bringing this up to people's attention, saying, you know what, GameStuH, that's a pretty fair argument. You know, how are they going to put next generation games on a 32 gigabyte cartridge? So you're essentially saying that games are going to go to 70, 80, or possibly $100, depending on if a third-party manufacturer wants to have a bigger cartridge. Which only going to mean that these companies are just saying, we're going to just go digital for the Nintendo Switch 2. You see? But I will say that 32 to 64 gigabytes of a cartridge would be enough for possibly a Nintendo game, because they don't really put much in it. But come on, man. Third party, bro, they're like 50 gigabytes and up. Some of them are even 100 gigabytes. It was already bad enough for NBA 2K and FIFA on the Switch 1. It's even going to be worse on the Switch 2, and what type of storage are we going to be working with here, people? You guys are not asking these questions. You're just running rainbow. Oh, the Switch 2, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be... Okay, but at the end of the day, how are we going to get these Call of Duties, even though Nintendo signed that Call of Duty 10-year plan? How are we going to get Call of Duty to run on the Switch if it's the PS4 version, if that's going to be over 100 gigs? You know damn well that ain't going on no cartridge. You buy the cartridge and then you got to download 70 other gigabytes of it online, which kind of beats the purpose of you buying the game physically in the first place. But how come we're not having these discussions? Let's also talk about how the Switch 2 is not fully backwards compatible, even with your old accessories, which are the Joy-Cons. So now you have two variations of Joy-Cons. You got Joy-Con 1s and then you got Joy-Con Revision 2s. And they're not interchangeable. Well, of course they changed it. I mean, even the dock is probably not even used. So let's be honest. We might have ourselves a PS Vita situation if Nintendo doesn't do this correctly. Remember how good the Vita was? But a lot of the complaints was the fact that when they bought it, they needed higher storage capacity. And let's not forget battery life. What is going to be the battery life in this thing? I mean, if the Switch is anything to go off on and battery technology hasn't really advanced thus far, that means the battery is going to even drain quicker. How come you people are not mentioning these things? Oh, that's right, because you're a Nintendo fanboy and we have to shill and glaze for everything. But I'm most definitely going to get one and I'm going to unbox it for people and I'm going to give people the legitimate criticism that the platform needs. Y'all want to talk about, it's all about the good games, but you don't want to talk about how the games are actually going to work on the device that you're going out there playing. You just want people to spend their money and find out the hard way. At the end of the day, I was going to buy one anyway because I like my Switch 1. So more likely I'm going to like the Switch 2. But let's not act like it's going to be the greatest platform in the world, because I'm telling you, I think Nintendo's going to focus a lot on cross-generation. So things ain't going to get started right away like you people are envisioning it to. That's what you guys don't understand. And that's why I'm trying to tell you, calm down the hype and anticipation. It really ain't that serious. Now, if you like the Switch 1 and you got to upgrade a Switch 2 and you want to play it like that, that's fine. Ain't nobody mocking you. But when y'all like out here losing it, oh, I can't believe it, Nintendo. I'm going to have to call cap on that, man. I'm sorry, bro. And you're one of the only individuals out here acting like that in this community. But I think these are pretty fair arguments. What did you guys say? 64 gigabytes, you can't get away with that like with the OLED. One game would fill up your whole space. I don't know, man. I just don't think this is a great idea for Nintendo unless they have 500 gigabytes or at least 1 terabyte of storage. You know what's even crazy? Even the Steam Deck don't even have that. So unless they're copying the Steam Deck's philosophy of 64 and what is the other one? 64 gigabytes. And what's the last one? 256 gigabytes of a Steam Deck. Then this Nintendo Switch ain't gonna do nothing for me, man, because you barely gonna be able to put games on it. I mean, at this point, they might as well come up with a Nintendo Pass where you download a game and you delete it, because how are you guys going to be able to fit all these third-party games as well as these exclusive titles on top of your old gaming catalog, all on the Switch too? I hope Nintendo gave this a lot of thought, because I'm telling you, I think Nintendo's just going to push this out there, and then we're going to have to realize, like, hold on, I can't put these third-party games on this Switch, you know? And what's even more worse, a lot of these games are going to look better docked when there's already better devices for that, like the Series S or even the PS4 Pro. What are we doing here, man? You gotta ask yourself, you know what, Gabe said, this is a good argument. I'm not hating on the Nintendo Switch, man. I'm telling you, people, I'm gonna go get one. But let's not front and act like there's not a lot of underlying problems with this platform. And that's what I'm trying to bring to people's attention. I have no problem with people going out there buying one. I'm purchasing one, you big dummy. But the point still stands. I don't have to glaze and act overhyped for it. I can see through the issues and be like, how is Nintendo? I mean, we got people saying they're going to put Red Dead Redemption 2 and Grand Theft Auto 5 on it. Well, that's going to be very hard. Well, they just have to use the Xbox One and PS. That version is over 100 gigabytes. So it's either the game is going to be digital only, or the game is going to be on a cartridge. But I know dang well Rockstar ain't putting no 100 gigabyte cartridge game out there. And on top of that, if they did, hypothetically, which we know they won't, how much money do you think that's going to cost for them to do? Which also means that most games that are third party on the Nintendo Switch 2, because they already complained about it with the 1, is going to be digital. Which completely goes against the whole concept of why we pick up Nintendo devices, right? Oh, but Nintendo gonna do their own in physical. Okay, but the vast majority of the library, especially if we're talking about the new titles, will not be on a cartridge. You people know this, man. I mean, it's not like that even on the Switch 1. Switch 2 is only going to make things even worse. Y'all think it's going to get better? Y'all really think that it's going to get better going on with this? It's not. It's only going to get worse, and you got people like him not talking about it because you guys would rather shill for the platform than to speak about maybe some potential problems this platform might have.
There's just some Western stuff as well. We got stuff like FIFA and Skyrim that was also at the event, so expect some of the casual.
And how you gonna fit FIFA on a cartridge?
In addition to some of the big third-party AAA from the Western
studio. Yeah, and how is that all gonna fit on a cartridge, brother? If this is essentially equivalent to a PS4 and the storage capacity, unless they do downgraded versions of these games, which would also beat the purpose, because if you're doing a downgraded version to a home console version, then the home console version is still the better experience because you have to dock it. Bruh, y'all ain't seeing this, man. You're like, you know what, GameStuH, now I'm starting to see your point. You know, I mean, I'm hyped up for the Switch too, but yeah, these are some problems that I can see what you're referring to. Because you're essentially saying that unless are they going to do a downgraded version of FIFA? Well, it's a downgraded version for FIFA so it can run on the Switch portable mode and the Switch 2 portable and the dock mode, but the dock mode looks the best though. Well, people already have platforms for that. I mean, if we're talking about docking here, people already have platforms way more powerful than it. So it kind of beats the purpose. But go ahead.
To show up as well. So there's going to be a lot more third-party support on the system.
Are you sure about that? Because to be honest with you, you're probably right, but a lot of it's going to be digital.
We saw at first when it comes to Nintendo Switch 1. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next topic here, and let's discuss the scalping situation that Nintendo is trying to make sure that they squash.
Y'all don't want to talk about this, bro. You guys want just people to consume product. You don't want to tell people the ins and outs, and that's fine. Get it. I'm getting one too. But I think it's not respectable that you guys are not talking about this, bro. Because I think that's a fair criticism. Like, I mean, they're complaining about putting these games on Switch 1 through the cartridges. And even when they do, guys, majority of those games ain't even on the cartridge anyway. You got to buy the game and then install it online. Right? You're going to get a lot of that with the Switch 2 in regards to third party. So you can essentially say goodbye to physical media for third party on the Switch. You have a better chance preserving your library on the Xbox with physical media as well as PlayStation. Goodbye, Nintendo. The only one that you're going to sit there and say that you have the games on the cartridge is maybe your very own titles, and that is it. Because Tears of Kingdom was a 32 gigabyte cartridge size game, probably one of the biggest we've seen on Switch. That probably explains as to why it was $10 higher than all the other versions, which all Nintendo had to say was because of that reason. They just didn't tell you. But at the end of the day, man, this is not good news, man. I hope we don't have another PS Vita situation where people are complaining about upgrading their storage capacity because the Switch is only starting you off for 32 to 64 gigabyte. And what's even, oh, well, we can carry our own library. Okay, that's only going to make matters even worse. Now I got to carry the Switch One's library. I mean, at this point, you're essentially saying that this is going to have 2 terabytes on it. Even the Steam Deck don't even have a 1 terabyte model, at least that I'm aware of. So I'm assuming maybe they might have... maybe I would say 256 for the sweet spot, but 500 gigabytes would be, I think would be okay. I think maybe 500 gigabytes. There needs to be at least be 500 gigabytes on this platform, man. There needs to be, bro. With all the games that I got on Switch 1, and then you expect me to buy games on Switch 2, including the new, vastly superior third party, that's going to be equivalent to the gigabyte storage of PS4 games, which are already 50 going up to 100. How many third-party games are y'all going to have on this? I buy a lot of games for Switch. So my third-party experience is going to be completely underwhelming if I buy the Switch 2. Y'all like, oh, it's going to get better. It might even get worse. Y'all know the gigabyte sizes for these games. They can't even run an outdated version of FIFA. Now they're going to get a PS4 version of FIFA, and that's going to have way more storage capacity. And y'all thinking, oh, they're going to put that on the cartridge now. Y'all are big dummies, bro. I'm sick and tired of the Nintendo community, man, because I'm keeping it real right here. And you people ain't listening. Y'all just, oh, I love it. I'm going to go. I mean, I've had people in my comment section saying, GameStuH, I'm going to have to disagree with you because it's all about the good games now. And it ain't about the hardware. Well, if it ain't about the hardware, then why are you buying the Switch 2? You're clearly buying the Switch 2 because it's more powerful than the Switch 1. Stop lying and stop capping. I hate when people do that as an argument. Because if it's all about good quality games, then go back and play your Sega Genesis. If it's all about good quality games, go back and keep your Switch 1. Why are you upgrading to the Switch 2? If it's about good quality games. Oh, ding, 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 ding. Good answer, Carl, because you want to see the graphical differences too. Stop capping. I love when people say that as an argument, as if we won, it's about the gamers. If the Switch 2 is the same power as the Switch 1, do you think people would buy it? That's the problem of what's going on with the Pro. These same dudes that told me in my own comment section about why the PS5 Pro is a complete piece of dog crap because the games play almost identically the same, are the same ones damage controlling for the Switch 2, talking about it's just about the games now. It's just about the exclusives. Well, if the hardware is exactly identically the same, which this clearly isn't, right? But according to your logic, if it's just about good quality games, then why aren't you just sticking with your Switch 1? Why do you feel they need to upgrade to the Switch 2? Ding, 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 ding. Good answer, Carl, because you understand you want to see the graphical and performance differences too. Stop capping. I understand that it's all about good quality games and the hardware is not the most important aspect of a console. I get that. I don't need people explaining to me that. I play retro games. I play games from 1998, and y'all sitting there telling me this? But let's not front and act like we don't buy another piece of hardware because we don't want to see a difference. Nah, that right there, I'm going to call it a red flag. Right there. And that's why I'm going to have to call that out. Because you people want to sit there and say, oh, well, it's not about that. But clearly it is. Because that's why you're picking up the Switch 2. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. I had to say it, bro. I'm even going to touch up on a little bit more situations. Make sure you guys share this video around and let everybody know that the Switch 2, there's going to be some clear problems with this. And like I said, I think a lot of us should chime in on this just to see what's going down. But take care. Peace out.